Tonight, I have something special for you. 5 terrifying stories told by the people who actually lived them. Each story takes place on a night that the protagonist will never forget. Some are strange and eerie, some are horrifying, but all of them share one thing in common, the feeling that you are not alone. As you listen, imagine yourself there, in the room, in the shadows. Feel the cold air on your skin. Hear the creak of the floorboards, the whisper of a voice that shouldn't be there. If you don't know me, I am Professor Noctree. Turn off the lights, put on headphones if you want the full experience, and stay with me, if you dare. Story 1. James was a 20-something living alone in a small apartment downtown. His nights were usually quiet, sometimes too quiet. One night, just as he was about to drift off, his phone rang. The screen flashed with an unknown number. Not blocked, not saved, just digits that made no sense. He hesitated, staring at the screen. Normally, he would ignore numbers he didn't know, but the apartment was quiet. The kind of quiet that makes you hyper-aware of every creak and whisper. With a shaky hand, he answered. "Hello?" His voice trembled slightly. Silence, then a whisper, almost inaudible. "James." He froze, every muscle tensed. The hair on the back of his neck stood up. "Who is this?" he whispered. No reply. Only the slow, deliberate sound of breathing behind him. Slowly he turned, scanning the empty room. Only the soft hum of the refrigerator. "It's probably a prank," he muttered. But then the whisper came again. Closer, louder, clear. "James." He dropped the phone, heart pounding. Every instinct screamed at him to leave. But then curiosity, or something darker, made him pick it up again and dial the number back. The line went dead. A click. And then, soft, deliberate footsteps, coming from behind him. Panic overtook him. He spun around. Nothing. He backed into the corner, listening to the whisper that came again, right next to his ear. "James." He ran to the hallway, tripping over his chair. The phone skidded across the floor. He didn't look back. The whisper followed him. He spent the night in his car, shaking, checking the phone every few minutes. The next morning he looked at the call logs. The number didn't exist. It had never existed. But since that night, at exactly 3:17 a.m. every night, the phone rings. And every time, the same whisper. "James." He told a friend, "I don't know what it wants. I don't know if it's human. But I know it's waiting. Right there, every night. Just waiting." Even now, James avoids sleeping alone. He leaves lights on. He keeps the phone in another room. But sometimes, when the wind blows just right, he thinks he hears it, whispering his name from the shadows. Story 2. Sarah lived alone in a small old house on the outskirts of town. One morning, she found a package on her doorstep. There was no note, no return address. Inside, a porcelain doll. It had delicate features, glassy eyes, and a smile that felt unnatural. At first she laughed. "It's just a doll," she said. She set it on a shelf and went about her day, but that night as she tried to sleep, she began to hear it. "Sarah," a whisper, faint, almost like it was carried on the wind. She froze, listening. The doll sat on the shelf, unmoving. She told herself it was the house settling. But then the whispers returned, louder. "Sarah." She got up and locked the doll in her closet. "There, it's safe," she said aloud, trying to calm herself. The next morning, the doll was on her bed, staring at her with those lifelike eyes. Smiling, terrified, she called her friend Laura. "I swear, it moves on its own," she said, voice shaking. "Every night I hear it calling me. I hear it whispering my name. I don't know what to do." Sarah began noticing other things. Doors left slightly open, objects in different places, faint giggles when she was alone. She would wake up in the middle of the night, thinking she saw a shadow pass across the room. The doll's eyes seemed to follow her everywhere. One night, she woke to feel a weight on her chest. The doll was sitting there, its eyes glowed faintly in the dark, its lips moved. "Sarah, come play with me," it whispered. She screamed, throwing it across the room. It shattered. The next morning, perfectly intact, the doll was sitting on her doorstep again. She moved out soon after, but she says that sometimes, late at night, she still hears it. Calling, whispering, her name. Story 3. Mark, a college student, decided to do a live stream for Halloween. Nothing scary, just chatting, laughing with friends online. His apartment was small, quiet, perfectly still. At first, everything was normal. He joked with friends, laughed at minor glitches. But when he reviewed the recording, that's when he noticed it. A shadow in the corner, barely visible. It looked like part of the wall, but its movement was deliberate. He laughed nervously, whispering, "It's just the lighting." But then the shadow shifted slowly, following him. Every movement he made, the shadow mirrored him. He spun the camera, nothing. He turned back. It was closer, watching, waiting. His heart raced. What are you?" he whispered. The shadow leaned forward, then a whisper. "I see you." Panic overtook him. He tried to turn off the camera. No response. He ran from the room. The shadow disappeared. The stream ended on its own. In the saved video, it was still there. Watching. Waiting. And sometimes, when he walked past the same corner, he could swear he heard that whisper. "I see you." He hasn't streamed again. Not a single time. And he avoids that corner of the apartment. Always. Story 4. Emma had always been fascinated by the dark corners of the internet, the places where horror stories lived. One night she stumbled upon a story that warned, "Listen alone if you dare, but be ready to hear more than just the story." She laughed nervously, but curiosity got the better of her. She put on her headphones, dimmed the lights, and sat on the edge of her bed. The narrator's voice began softly, almost soothing, guiding her through a tale of shadows and whispers. At first, nothing, just the story. But then she noticed something, a faint creaking from her floorboards. She paused the story, listening. The house was supposed to be empty. Just her. Then came the footsteps. Slow, deliberate, moving closer to her bed. Her pulse quickened. "It's just the floor," she whispered to herself. But the steps continued steady and heavy, echoing in rhythm with her heart. A whisper. "Emma." Her breath caught, not through the headphones, not from the story. Right there in the room. Her name. Frozen, she whispered. "Who's there?" Silence. Then a soft giggle, almost childish, echoing from the corner of her room. The air grew colder, her breath visible in the faint light of the laptop screen. Shadows stretched unnaturally along the walls. The hairs on her arms stood on end. Every instinct screamed at her to move, to run, but she could not. Minutes passed like hours. She dared to open her eyes. Nothing. But the feeling, the awareness of being watched, never left her. The next morning she told a friend, "I should never have done it. Even though nothing touched me, I know something is there, waiting, listening. And if you try this alone, it might be waiting for you too." Since then she avoids silence. She sleeps with lights on, doors open, music playing, but sometimes late at night, she still hears it. Her name, whispered, patiently, waiting. A group of friends found an old Halloween ritual online. It was called the Mirror Game. The instructions were simple. One candle, one mirror, one question you were never supposed to speak aloud. "It's just a game," Jake said confidently, trying to mask his nervousness. "Nothing will happen." They followed the instructions carefully. The room was dark except for the candle's flicker, shadows dancing along the walls. They laughed nervously, trying to keep the mood light. But when Jake looked into the mirror, he froze. Another version of himself stared back, smiling, but not his smile. A twisted, unnatural grin, like a mask made from shadows. "Move," his friend dared, a tremor in his voice. Jake raised his hand. His reflection raised its hand too, but slower, distorted. The movements weren't identical. They were wrong. Wrong enough to make every nerve in the room scream. The temperature dropped, breath visible in the air. Shadows grew longer. The friends huddled together, panic spreading. One by one, they tried to leave, but the door wouldn't budge. "I shouldn't have asked," Jake whispered. "I shouldn't have said it." The candle flickered violently. The reflection leaned closer, the grin widening. Its eyes glowed faintly in the darkness. The friends screamed, backing away. Some swore they saw figures forming behind them in the mirror. Other people, faces twisted, screaming silently. And then silence. The candle burned down to nothing. The room was cold and empty. The friends left and never returned. Jake swears to this day that something followed him home. Every night, he says, he catches glimpses of that grin in reflective surfaces, mirrors, windows, even spoons. And every time he hears a faint whisper, "I'm still here." 5 stories. 5 nights of terror experienced by people who never wanted to be remembered. Each story a reminder that the things we ignore in the dark may still be watching, listening, and waiting. If you want more stories to quicken your pulse, tales to hear in the darkness, subscribe and hit the notification bell. The night is young, and I always have more to share. Sleep well, if you can.